Hi everyone, welcome back to Cooking and Creating with Melissa. And the recipe that I'm going to share with you today is called chicken paprikash stew. Now, chicken paprikash is a staple food and a traditional food within the Hungarian culture. And what's really cool about this recipe is that it shows people that you do not have to give up traditional meals when you eat vegan, nor do you have to give up the taste, because I can assure you that this recipe is just as good or even better than the non-vegan counterpart. Also, my inspiration for this recipe was Rachael Ray. I was thumbing through the net, looking through, and I came upon her recipe for chicken paprikash stew, which is a non-vegan version, and I immediately became inspired to veganize it. So thanks, Rachael. All right, let's get to the ingredients. We have about 15 ounces of crushed tomatoes, a heaping tablespoon of Hungarian paprika, and trust me when I tell you, no other paprika will sub in this recipe. 2 cups of vegetable broth. We are going to do about 3/4 cups of sour cream from the Non-Dairy Evolution Cookbook by Chef Sky Michael Conroy. Salt and pepper to taste, of course. 2 tablespoons of better butter from the same cookbook. 1 tablespoon of flour. About 1/2 tablespoon of caraway seeds, and please do not omit this ingredient. They're amazing and the aroma is fantastic. I sliced 1 onion, and I sliced a total of 1 pepper, bell pepper, but I used a variation of red, yellow, and orange to make the dish more beautiful and more colorful. I minced 2 garlic cloves, and I'm going to use sliced green onions for garnish. And finally, to our meatless product, we are going to use Beyond Meat today. Now these are chickenless strips that they're about 2.5 inches long, and you can use these in any recipe that you would normally use chicken strips in, and if you like chicken, you're gonna really like these too. Now what I did for this recipe is I diced these into bite-sized pieces, and then I sauteed them in a little bit of olive oil for about 3 to 5 minutes. With that being said, it's time to start this recipe. Let's go. Okay, so now we're over here at the stove, and what I've done is I melted the 2 tablespoons of better butter with the paprika. And now I'm going to add the onions and the tri-peppers. And let these saute in there along with these wonderful caraway seeds. I'm going to stir them in there. And I'm going to let these cook in here for about 3 to 5 minutes, coating them nicely with the paprika. All right, so I've been cooking and stirring this mixture for about 5 minutes, and notice how it's so nicely coated with the paprikash. And I added the garlic, the 2 minced garlic cloves, and they've been in there for about 30 seconds now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add this flour, and I'm simply going to stir it all in. This will serve to thicken the stew. Not too much, but enough to where it won't be too thin. And I'm just going to stir that in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that vegetable broth. You can hear that sizzle. And the crushed tomatoes. And I'm simply going to mix to incorporate. And I'm going to turn my heat to high. I'm going to bring this to a boil, and then I'm going to reduce it to a simmer, and it's going to do some magic for about 15 to 20 minutes on simmer. All right, so this has been simmering for about 15 minutes, and I added salt and pepper to taste. And now the next ingredient that I'm going to add is the sour cream from Chef Sky Michael Conroy's cookbook, called the Non-Dairy Evolution. And once again, you're going to see this turn a very beautiful orange color. It's really, and I'm just going to simply whisk this in there to incorporate it with all the other sauce here. See how it turns a beautiful orange? It's amazing. Just simply beautiful dish. And now that Beyond Meat that I talked to you about earlier, that I had prepared, I'm just simply going to add this in. And I'm gonna let it gently, this is still on simmer. I'm just gonna incorporate this now into the sauce. And I'm gonna let it heat, gently heat for about 5 minutes just to bring that Beyond Meat up to temperature. All right, so we're ready to dish out this wonderful stew. Here we go, and I cannot tell you how redolent this makes the house. It just smells so good. It's just a beautiful dish any way you look at it. Here we go. I'm going to garnish with about a teaspoon of that sour cream from Chef Guy Michael Conroy's book. And then I'm going to garnish with those green onions. And I am serving it alongside some vegan garlic bread. If any of you want that recipe, I'm happy to share with you. Just give me a message. All right, so remember, I believe that one recipe, one meal, one person, and one day at a time, we can and will make this world a better place for all who inhabit it. Thanks again. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you again. Bye.